Welcome back to our channel for a deeper analysis of the latest developments in Genoa. Kane is furious that Billy disregarded the opportunity Kane gave him. However, Billy blames his mother, Jill Abbott, for keeping this secret from him. Billy believes this is why Jill sold the Chancellor to Victor before the truth was revealed. Join us as we uncover the shocking plot twists that are about to change everything for the Abbott family and Winters. The atmosphere inside the Chancellor Executive Office is suffocating, thick with the accumulated tension of weeks of corporate sabotage and unchecked ego. Lily Winters stands at the precipice of a monumental decision, her patience entirely depleted by the relentless, chaotic energy that Billy Abbott has injected into her daily operations. She has reached her absolute limit, recognizing that his obsessive deep dives into the company archives are no longer just a distraction, but a malignant threat to the stability of the empire. Preparing herself for a brutal confrontation, Lily resolves to terminate his employment, determined to reclaim the stolen documents and restore order to a legacy she has fought so desperately to protect. She waits for his arrival, her posture rigid, embodying the fierce leadership required to excise a toxic element from her professional domain. The moment Billy strides through the heavy office doors, the room crackles with his manic, unhinged enthusiasm. He is practically vibrating with a triumphant energy, completely oblivious to the icy reception awaiting him. He arrives with the eager anticipation of a conqueror, ready to unveil a grand victory, desperate to share his monumental revelation. However, before he can even begin to articulate his supposed good news, Lily decisively cuts him off, delivering her termination notice with unwavering authority. She demands the immediate return of every single archival document he has removed, stripping him of his title and his access in one swift, uncompromising motion. Yet, instead of the shock or outrage she expects, Billy merely absorbs the blow with a chilling, smug defiance, his demeanor reflecting a man who believes he is entirely untouchable. The dynamic in the room shifts violently as Billy counters Lily with a declaration that borders on the surreal. He outright rejects her authority to terminate his employment, boldly asserting that she lacks the power to fire the true owner of Chancellor Industries. The sheer audacity of his claim hangs in the air, a heavy, suffocating blanket of disbelief that momentarily paralyzes both Lily and Kane Ashby. For a fraction of a second, they view his statement as the ultimate manifestation of his corporate delusions, a desperate fantasy spun by a man who has finally lost his grip on reality. But the unwavering, cold certainty in Billy's eyes suggests something far more dangerous than madness, forcing his adversaries to confront the terrifying possibility that his arrogant proclamation might be rooted in a hidden, catastrophic truth. Refusing to be dismissed, Billy meticulously unpacks the historical foundation of his explosive claim, dragging the ghosts of Genoa City past into the present conflict. He details a forgotten financial transaction from decades ago, revealing that his father, the revered John Abbott, had provided a massive, undisclosed loan to Philip Chancellor during a period of dire financial instability. Billy explains the lethal caveat attached to this quiet bailout, a strict 20-year default clause that stipulated John would assume total ownership of the company if the debt remained unpaid. He notes that Philip never honored the financial commitment, and John, perhaps out of misplaced honor or enduring friendship, simply never arrived to collect his due. By weaponizing his father's long-buried secret, Billy attempts to rewrite the entire foundational history of the corporate landscape. The implications of this revelation are staggering, particularly regarding the legacy of the late, legendary Catherine Chancellor. Billy theorizes with absolute conviction that Catherine lived her entire life in blissful ignorance of this financial sword of Damocles hanging over her empire. He suggests that the Grand Chancellor legacy, built and fiercely protected by Catherine, was essentially constructed on borrowed time and unpaid Abbott money. This assertion not only threatens to invalidate decades of corporate history, but also deeply insults the memory of a woman who defined power in Genoa City. By framing Catherine as an unknowing beneficiary of Abbott charity, Billy elevates his own family status while systematically dismantling the perceived legitimacy of the current Chancellor leadership, proving that his ambition respects no boundaries, not even those of the dead. The presentation of this historical loophole ignites a visceral, explosive fury within Kane. He vehemently denounces Billy, furiously labeling him a spoiled, entitled brat who is throwing a catastrophic tantrum to get his way. Kane is consumed by a profound sense of betrayal, having previously extended professional lifelines and opportunities to Billy, only to have those gestures weaponized against him. He views Billy's actions as the ultimate form of ingratitude, a reckless destruction of the company's stability for the sake of a colossal ego trip. Despite Kane's blistering verbal assault, Billy remains entirely unfazed, coldly promising that his legal team is already verifying the authenticity of the ancient documents. He confidently assures them that the undeniable proof of his ownership will be delivered to their desks by the end of the business day, cementing his hostile takeover. The narrative takes a darker, more personal turn, as Billy shifts the blame for this entire chaotic situation onto his own mother, Jill Abbott. He deduces with bitter certainty that this unpaid loan was the dark, monumental secret she had been so desperately trying to keep buried within the company archives. Billy concludes that Jill's abrupt, highly controversial decision to sell Chancellor to Victor Newman was not a strategic business maneuver, but a panicked attempt to launder the company and hide the truth from her own son. He voices his profound sense of maternal betrayal, twisting his anger into a self-righteous justification for his current crusade. In Billy's mind, he is not stealing a company, he is reclaiming a stolen birthright that his mother maliciously attempted to sell off to their greatest family rival. Unable to contain his boiling rage and desperate to regain a tactical advantage, Kane storms out of the executive office, his mind racing with the catastrophic implications of Billy's claims. He immediately seeks out Holden Novak, urgently demanding any scrap of intelligence regarding the depth and scope of Billy's recent archival investigations. Kane is operating in a state of frantic damage control, needing to know exactly what documents Billy has uncovered and whether there are any other hidden landmines waiting to detonate. The realization that they have been completely blindsided by a man they underestimated fuels Kane's urgency, driving him to scour the corporate ranks for anyone who might have insight into Billy's erratic but apparently highly effective espionage. The situation deteriorates further when a panicked Holden is forced to admit to Kane that he possesses absolutely no useful information regarding Billy's discoveries. Before Kane can process this tactical failure, Billy himself arrives on the scene, eager to exercise his newly perceived, absolute authority. Witnessing the exchange, Billy decides to make a brutal, public demonstration of his power by terminating Holden employment on the spot. He delivers the firing with a chilling nonchalance, reveling in the immediate humiliation of the employee and the profound powerlessness of Kane. This ruthless action serves as a terrifying preview of the tyrannical leadership style Billy intends to implement, proving that he is willing to discard anyone who does not immediately bow to his unverified corporate supremacy. Recognizing that the situation has escalated far beyond a simple internal corporate dispute, Kane realizes he needs overwhelming external force to neutralize the threat. Driven by a desperate need for intervention, Kane immediately places a call to Jack Abbott, the patriarch of the Abbott family. Kane furiously reports the severity of Billy's unhinged actions, and declares that he is on his way to confront Jack in person. Kane's mindset has shifted from corporate defense to outright familial warfare, seeking to force Jack to take responsibility for his younger brother's destructive crusade. This phone call sets the stage for a massive collision between Kane's righteous, protective fury and Jack's desperate, historical desire to maintain peace and neutrality within his fractured family. Back in the aftermath of the chaotic confrontations, Lily refuses to surrender to the overwhelming pressure of Billy's hostile takeover. Left standing in the wreckage of what was supposed to be a straightforward termination, she quickly pivots her strategy, turning her attention to the newly unemployed Holden. Recognizing the value of a discarded asset with potential grievances against their mutual enemy, Lily formally requests Holden assistance in the impending brutal war against Billy. She is determined to build a coalition of resistance, utilizing every available resource to verify the documents, challenge the legal claims, and protect the Chancellor legacy from being swallowed by Billy's monumental ego. Lily's strategic mind goes into overdrive, preparing for a corporate siege that will test her leadership like never before. The shockwaves of this single explosive confrontation are destined to fracture the entire corporate and social landscape of Genoa City. The revelation of the unpaid Abbott loan not only threatens Lily and Kane, but also places Victor Newman in a highly precarious position, as the ruthless patriarch believes he recently purchased a clean, unencumbered company from Jill. The impending legal nightmare will inevitably drag Newman Enterprises Chancellor Industries, and the Abbott family into a scorched earth legal battle that will consume millions of dollars and destroy countless relationships. Billy's relentless obsession with claiming his phantom throne has effectively isolated him from everyone who ever cared for him, transforming him into a corporate pariah who is willing to burn down the entire city just to rule over the ashes. As the business day inches toward its close, a suffocating suspense blankets the city, with all eyes waiting for the delivery of Billy's promised legal documents. The impending arrival of these ancient contracts holds the power to either expose Billy as a delusional fraud or coronate him as the undisputed king of a stolen empire. Meanwhile, Kane marched toward the Abbott mansion, guarantees a violent emotional collision with Jack, a confrontation that will force the Abbott patriarch to finally choose between protecting his father's legacy and stopping his brother madness. With Lily and Holden quietly mobilizing their own defenses, the stage is set for an unprecedented war of attrition, leaving the audience to wonder if anyone can survive the catastrophic fallout of a secret that has been buried for decades.